In this video, we're going to learn how to create 2D transforms. Basically, this means that we're going to be changing the shape of some elements. Also, we can change their size and positioning. So, starting with the Facebook div, we can, well, first of all, let's change the width of Facebook to 100 pixels so that we can see how changes work. And now let's start with our first transform, which is going to be the rotation. So the syntax, there is a standard syntax. We need to start with transform, and then after that we choose what change we want to apply for the element. Okay, so in our case we want to rotate, so we're gonna go for the rotate function. Okay, and we need to specify the angle of rotation. And we can see that if we go for 30 degrees, the div is rotating by 30 degrees clockwise. Okay, so some other browsers, they will need a different syntax. So for instance, Internet Explorer 9 would need minus sign, ms minus sign in front of transform. Other browsers, they will need minus sign WebKit minus sign in front of transform. Okay, so just bear that in mind for cross-browser compatibility. But for now, let's just focus on our standard syntax. So let's try something else now. Let's try to translate the div. So we're going to go transform, translate, and now we need to specify a value there, or two values. So let's try 10 pixels for instance. So you can see now that Facebook has translated towards the right by 10 pixels. Okay, if we choose 20 pixels, you can see better. But if you choose minus 20 pixels, so you can see that now the div is going towards the left. Okay, if we choose two values, so 20 pixels and 30 pixels, the second value is gonna tell the browser to move the div down if it's a positive value. If it's a negative value, then we're moving up. Okay, so that's how the translation works. Now let's try something else. Let's try scaling. So transform, scale. Okay, and basically we're gonna need, so let's try, if we use one value, that means, so if we choose 0.5, that means that we are halving both the width and the height of Facebook. Okay, if we want to choose two values, one for the width and one for the height, then we can do that as well. So for instance, we can set, if we go 1 and 1, that means that we are using the original dimensions that we had before, which is 100 pixels and 100 pixels. If we go for 2 and 2, then we are scaling up basically. So we are doubling the width and we're doubling the height. But if we go for like half and 1, so we're halving the width and we're keeping the height similar to its original value. Okay, so that's how the scaling works. Okay, let's go for another one. Let's try the skewing. So transform, skew. Okay, so if we choose skew X for instance, okay, and choose a value, we need an angle. So let's go for 10 degrees for instance. So that means that we are, just imagine that you're pulling the rectangle from that side towards the left, and from that side towards the right. And then you're creating this angle between the vertical line and this line, which is similar to this angle between the vertical line there and that line there. So the angle, the 10 degrees are here. Okay, so that's the going from the x axis. If we try the y axis, then actually it's different. So it's like we're pulling from that side and from that side actually. So pulling up and down here, and the angle is what you see between the horizontal line and that line. That's the 10 degrees. Okay, so we can try skew just like that. And if you choose only one value, it's similar to the x, to the skew x. If you choose two values, then that's for the x and that's for the y. Okay.